Hi guys, I'm going to go over really quickly everything you need to know for the Earth Layers quiz to make sure you're prepared for it. So the first thing you need to know is you need to know about density. So let me give you an example of density really quickly. So I've got two cubes here. They have about the same volume because they take up the same amount of space. But I'm going to make the mass different. So you can see the one on the right has more mass because there's more molecules, there's more stuff inside. The one on the left has less mass, even though they're the same volume. So as far as which one is more dense, we would say the one on the right is more dense because there's more stuff crammed into the same space, right? Things with more density sink. Things with less density float on top, right? So that's why, for example, ketchup, if you forget to shake your ketchup and you try and squeeze it out, you get like this watery, nasty stuff come out first because the less dense stuff is the water, so that floats to the top. The tomatoey pulp stuff is more dense and that sinks to the bottom, right? Same thing with like vinaigrette salad dressing. It separates out into layers based on density. Now the same thing happened with the layers of our Earth. When the Earth was forming, it was a molten mass of melty rock and minerals and stuff. And that melted rock layered out based on the density of what it was made of. So the most dense stuff sunk to the middle of the Earth where gravity was pulling it in, right? And then the least dense stuff is the crust, and that's on the outside of the Earth. So it increases in density as you get closer to the center of the Earth. The atmosphere is floating on top of the crust. The atmosphere is less dense than the crust. Mantle is more dense than the crust. The outer core is more dense than the mantle, and the inner core is the most dense, and it's made of like iron and nickel, dense metals in the middle there. So you need to know that density increases as you get closer. More dense things sink, less dense things float. You need to know whether each layer is solid, liquid, or gas. So the atmosphere, the stuff we breathe, is a gas. The crust is a solid, obviously. The mantle, it flows like peanut butter or honey, so it's really thick, but we say it's a liquid because it's still melty and it still flows, even though it flows really slowly. The outer core is a liquid because it's so hot, it's melted into a liquid. And then the inner core should be a liquid because it's so hot, but there's such intense pressure pushing on the inner core of the Earth that it makes it into a solid. If we cut the Earth in half and let go of that pressure, then it would instantly become a liquid because it's so hot. But it's pressed with so much pressure that the inner core is a solid, okay? You also need to know that as you get closer to the center of the Earth, the temperature increases, it gets hotter in the middle, and then also as you get closer to the center of the Earth, the pressure increases because it's got more stuff pressing in on it. So the inner core has the most density, the most temperature, and the most pressure, okay? You also need to know, so let me show you this. These are the densities of the layers of the Earth. We talked about like grams per milliliter is the density, our unit of density for liquids. Grams per centimeter cubed is our unit of density for solids, okay? So this is telling us like the range of densities for each layer of the Earth. Now, if I told you we found a rock with a density of 4.2 grams per centimeter cubed, take a look at these layers. Think about which layer that rock probably came from based on its density. So again, it's a density of 4.2 grams per centimeter cubed. And I'll tell you, it probably came from the mantle because the mantle has anywhere from 3.4 grams per centimeter cubed to 5.6 grams per centimeter cubed. 4.2 falls right in the middle there, so it probably came from the mantle based on its density, what it's made of. Now, if you found a rock with a density of 2.4 grams per centimeter cubed, take a look at the layers. Think about which layer it probably came from. The answer is it probably came from the crust because we got 2.2 to 2.9, and that rock we found is 2.4 grams per centimeter cubed. So that's where it came from. Okay, so you need to understand that and understand what increases as you get closer to the center of the Earth. And density, more dense sinks, less dense floats. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Ask me if you have more questions, and good luck on the quiz.